Picture this: discovering that an ancient bard, nearly 800 years prior to the conception of atoms, articulated reality in a manner astonishingly akin to modern quantum physics. His name was Rumi. His pursuit was not the tangible substance of things, but the very essence of meaning. And what he uncovered might represent the most profound connection between the scientific and the divine. Rumi's poetic expressions were not empirical theories or mathematical formulas. Rather, they were profound revelations of perception, deep insights into the intricate interplay between awareness and existence. Centuries downstream, quantum physicists would indeed stumble upon a strikingly parallel truth: that the very act of observing the universe fundamentally alters its state. This is no mere happenstance. It signifies a profound resonance between two distinct lexicons attempting to articulate the same profound enigma. At the most fundamental levels, the fabric of existence behaves as if it were a dream, oscillating between defined form and latent potential. Consider the celebrated double-slit experiment, where photons exhibit duality, behaving as both discrete particles and pervasive waves, only solidifying into a singular certainty when subjected to observation. Physicists label this phenomenon the observer effect, illustrating that consciousness doesn't merely document reality, but actively participates in its manifestation. Further illuminating this interconnectedness is entanglement, a principle demonstrating that two particles, once linked, retain an instantaneous connection across immeasurable spatial divides. A change in one particle triggers an immediate corresponding response in the other, utterly disregarding the intervening distance. Albert Einstein famously termed this spooky action at a distance, though contemporary science now refers to it as quantum correlation. These discoveries progressively erode the perceived boundary between the observer and the observed. Science investigates these realms through instrumentation, while mystics explore them through introspection. And long before the term quantum entered scholarly discourse, Rumi presciently alluded to this very same field, a reality not solely constructed from matter, but intricately woven from awareness itself. Rumi eloquently captured this notion, stating, "You are not a single drop within the ocean. You are the entirety of the ocean, contained within a single drop." Modern physicists recognize this concept as the holographic principle, the idea that every constituent part of the universe implicitly carries the informational blueprint of the whole. For Rumi, this was not an abstract philosophical construct, but a deep-seated recognition of inherent unity within perceived multiplicity. He perceived a singular consciousness reflecting itself through an infinite array of forms. He also articulated another profound insight. The wound is the aperture through which the light enters you. To the mystic, a wound is not merely a source of pain, but an avenue for heightened perception. Awareness penetrates through perceived fractures. Much like the collapse of a quantum wave function, periods of suffering compel the self into sharper focus, dismantling illusions and revealing fundamental truths. Furthermore, he posited, "Everything existing within the universe resides within you. Seek all answers from within yourself." This reflects the principle of non-locality in contemporary terminology. Rumi comprehended centuries ago that the perceived divisions between the individual self and the vast cosmos are ultimately illusory. The same consciousness that permeates the galaxies is the very consciousness that animates your own being. He conveyed his wisdom not through mathematical equations, but through potent symbolism. Yet, the underlying pattern, the inherent rhythm, remains consistent. Both Rumi's poetry and the discoveries of quantum physics converge to proclaim a singular, unifying truth. Awareness and existence are inextricably intertwined. If consciousness demonstrably interacts with the fabric of reality, then focused attention emerges as the most formidable force at our disposal. Rumi grasped this truth long before scientific validation. He penned, "That which you seek is already seeking you." Concentration is not a passive act. It actively shapes the very landscape of your lived experience. When you consciously direct your attention toward feelings of gratitude, clarity, or inner peace, your internal energetic frequencies shift, and the external world mirrors these transformations back to you. Contemporary research corroborates that focused intention can indeed influence measurable outcomes. Rumi, in his time, would have characterized this influence as love. Today's scientists might label it observation. Consider embarking on a simple experiment this evening. Prior to slumber, vividly visualize a specific, desired event for the following day. Immerse yourself in the sensory details, feeling it as if it has already transpired. Then, relinquish all attachment to the outcome. Refrain from force or desperation. Simply observe. Over a period, you will likely perceive subtle yet significant shifts. Consciousness, once awakened to its own power, begins to actively sculpt the contours of your reality. This is not arcane sorcery, but a fundamental resonance between consciousness and the creative forces of existence. Rumi frequently employed the metaphor of mirrors to elucidate the nature of the soul. He wrote, "If every abrasive touch irritates you, how shall your mirror be polished?" To him, awareness was not merely illumination, but also profound reflection. The external world, he asserted, functions as a mirror reflecting the observer's inner state. Whatever you harbor within, you will invariably perceive without. Modern physics now articulates a remarkably similar perspective, suggesting that the observer and the observed are not distinct entities, but rather entangled informational fields. Envision it this way: a fundamental particle responds to the nature of the question posed to it. When we approach with an expectation of certainty, it collapses into a singular, definitive answer. Conversely, when we engage with an attitude of open inquiry, it retains its infinite potentiality, a mirroring of the boundless nature of life itself. Rumi grasped this profound interconnectedness centuries ago, not through controlled experimentation, but through direct, experiential insight into consciousness. When he spoke of polishing the mirror, he was describing the alchemical process of refining perception, burning away the accumulated dross of judgment and fear until awareness achieves a transparency sufficient to reflect reality in its unadulterated form. This represents the clandestine conduit between mysticism and the scientific endeavor. Both serve as mirrors reflecting the same primordial light. One refracts it through the precise language of equations, the other through the evocative imagery of poetry. And when these distinct mirrors achieve alignment, the reflection becomes complete and unified. Rumi was not merely documenting quantum mechanics. He was meticulously charting the landscape of consciousness, unveiling the concealed architecture of perception. His poetry served as a reflective surface, rendering the intangible visible. 8 centuries hence, science is beginning to delineate these very same outlines. When the realms of poetry and physics converge, echoes of truth begin to resonate. It is conceivable that what we perceive as the universe is, in essence, the divine observing itself. Should this brief contemplation have illuminated your understanding, please share your thoughts in the comments. For the true awakening commences the moment you realize that you have never been solely an observer of the universe. Rather, the universe has perpetually been observing you.